What's going on, everyone? So, Dylan Harper recently had to have surgery. According to Shams, he hadn't suffered an injury during a workout on Wednesday. Per Shams, San Antonio Spurs #2 pick Dylan Harper underwent surgery Friday to repair a partially torn ligament in his left thumb that he suffered in a workout Wednesday. And the hope is Harper will be ready for the season opener October 22nd in Dallas, sources tell ESPN. So, a couple things about this. One, obviously not good. You don't want your rookie getting hurt, and he was coming off of an injury. So now he's had essentially 2 injuries during this last, 6-month stretch. That's not good, right? He needs to be able to stay healthy. He needs to be able to stay out there on the basketball court. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that he won't, right? We've seen plenty of guys turn it around and just kind of have a weird injury window. Steph Curry. Great example, right? Steph Curry, there was a point in time where people thought he was going to be out of the league in a year because his ankles were falling apart and he couldn't. And now look at, his trajectory and what he's become as a player. So, but it is just something to kind of keep an eye on, right? He's dealing with leg injuries and now hand injuries, and it's just, he needs to be able to stay healthy and stay right. This is also the same injury that De'Aaron Fox ended up having to have surgery on, and he ended up playing most of the season, right? He probably plays the entire season if Victor Wembanyama doesn't go down. But when Wemby went down, it was kind of like, wait, what's the point, right? You might as well just have De'Aaron Fox go correct that issue now so he can have a full training camp, he can have a full offseason. Other thing is this likely means that Dylan Harper is either limited or not involved at all in training camp. And that, to me, hurts. Because, again, you're talking about integrating a rookie that you're expecting to have a big part and play a big role with this Spurs team. Now, I don't think this year he's probably starting. I think he's more likely than not coming off the bench and going to kind of operate and play in that 6-man role. But you still want him healthy and right and kind of learning what are the offensive schemes, what are the defensive schemes, how, building that chemistry and familiarity with these guys, Luke Cornett, Victor Wembanyama, Kelly Olynyk, right? All of these guys that you're going to be playing alongside. And especially if you're the guy with the ball in your hand and you're making the plays off the bench and you're kind of the primary scoring and playmaking option for a team like the Spurs, you need that training camp to really build that chemistry. I also have talked about how I think that this training camp is the most important training camp, right? Because this is the first year you're implementing a new head coach that needs to, and I understand, I know he coached last year and stuff like that, but he didn't have a full training camp. He kind of came in, it was that awkward period where it's like, okay, Pop might come back. Right, there was months where it was like, okay, is he coming back? Is he not coming back? A couple reports that hey, he might come back, and then he doesn't, and it's just so Mitch Johnson never was really able to stamp his coaching pedigree on this roster, on this team. This is going to be the first year where he's the guy. He has his coach staff, he has his people, he has everything he needs to really start to carve out how does he want this team and their identity to look? How does he want the offense to operate? How does he want the defense to operate? How does he want all these things to work? Right? So to me, I really think it's important for everybody, all hands on deck for this training camp. So Mitch has just a better idea and grasp and understanding on how he wants to operate everything. Right? The thing is, if it was somebody like like a Carter Bryant, right? I wouldn't really be as concerned. Obviously, I want Carter Bryant to be a great player. I want him to play. I've even talked about that. If you jumped into a DeLorean, went into the future, came back and was like, hey, outside of Victor Wembanyama, Carter Bryant's the best player on this team, I would fully believe you. I think his peak is like Kawhi Leonard level, where he's like one of the best get a stop, get a bucket guys in basketball. Worse, I think he's like an OG type, right? I just think he's already shown that defensive versatility, but particularly this year, it's like, how much is he really going to play? How many minutes is he going to play? What type of role is he going to play? Right? Because you have several other guys. I'm not saying he's not going to play at all, but he's not playing most likely over guys like Harrison Barnes. You got guys like Jeremy Sohan. You probably play Wemby at the 4 sometimes, so he's probably not going to play a ton at the 4. You got Julian Champagnie, right? You're probably going to play Stephon Castle and Devin Vassell at the 3 a ton, right? So it's like, where does Carter Bryant really fit in, right? Like how many minutes is he going to play? Obviously, I don't want injuries to any of the guys, right? Obviously, I don't want anybody to miss training camp. Like I said, I believe we need all hands on deck. But a guy like Dylan Harper, I do think is probably going to play pretty significantly. I do think he's going to play probably a pretty significant role. I think he's going to be a guy that is going to be leaned on pretty heavily this season to, not to the sense of like a De'Aaron Fox or Victor Wembanyama or anything like that, but as just like your engine off the bench. Like De'Aaron Fox misses a game, it's like, hey, Harper, here you go. Here's your time to shine. And he needs to be able to kind of put his stamp on this team and be able to kind of, develop that chemistry, to develop that understanding, learn and digest the plays rather than like him just kind of be thrusted in and thrown in, starting of the season. It's like, okay, yeah, everyone knows what you need to do. Now, Dylan Harper, you just get out there, just go play, right? It's just like, again, it's going to take him a little while to really kind of get, so he's even further behind the 8 ball than he would have been if you had training camp, to where he might be able to just get off to the races, where now it's probably going to take him a little time. Does Mitch Johnson kind of pull the rein back a little bit because he didn't have, and he wasn't part of training camp? I'm hoping that, he's able to kind of get things right. Maybe he plugs in towards the middle or the end of training camp. Maybe it's during preseason, but we know the Spurs are going to be cautious with him, right? We know that the Spurs are not going to rush him back or anything like that. The Spurs, if he has to miss a handful of games during the regular season, he'll miss a handful of games during the regular season. It's not the start that you want from a rookie, let alone a rookie that is expected to play a big role and be a key part of this team as soon as this year. Again, it's another thing if it's a rookie where it's like, oh, hey, this is a development guy. We're looking for him to play a role in 2 or 3 years from now. It's another thing when it's like, no, this is the number 2 pick who we're looking to come in and be a 15-5-5 guy right out the gate. A guy that we're looking to, come in and really kind of make his mark and be in the running for Rookie of the Year and all that stuff. And I just, this is not good for the Spurs, not good for Dylan Harper. I mean, luckily, it's not something hugely significant where it's like, it's not the end of the world, right? But it is disappointing. It's unfortunate. And it's something that we got to kind of keep an eye on now because, again, you have several guys. At some point, you're going to have to make a decision. You have De'Aaron Fox for the next 4 years on a max. You're going to have to pay Stephon Castle in a couple seasons, right? Victor Wembanyama's getting a max extension as soon as next offseason. Right? Jeremy Sohan, what are you going to do? Right? And you look at the guard position in particular, right? You have somebody like, what do you do with Devin Vassell? Right? Like you got guys that you're going to have to make decisions on. And if Dylan Harper can't stay healthy, it's like, okay, well then he might end up just being the odd man out. So it's something that we got to kind of keep an eye on. So again, we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I don't want to. No, luckily it wasn't anything majorly significant. Luckily it wasn't anything where it's like, oh no, it's unfortunate, but should be back. He should be right. And then hopefully he can stay healthy throughout the course of the season. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me not. If you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.